Hello, entrepreneurs. Joe DeChara here once again with another segment of Joe DeChara Presents How to Win a Business, and brought to you by my favorite sponsor in the world, Bedrock University. Tuition is still free for students, and we're looking for world-class professors. So if you have a course that fits with our mission and our mindset, which is really to provide simple, low cost, no cost information guidance to the solopreneur, or as my friend John says, small business owners. Because according to some people, we don't use the term solopreneur as, oh, I'm a solopreneur. Well, I do. I thought about that. Am I the only one? And if you don't know who I am a solopreneur, serial entrepreneur, CPA. I'm coming to you live from downtown Flushing, New York. Things are surprisingly turning back to normal. And I know you've been worrying about me and Flushing, but we're still here. I've actually eaten out, literally eaten out outside at a restaurant. You know, eating out before used to be like you go to a restaurant and you go inside, and there is no more inside. So it's different. It's different. Like if we were in the city on a nice rooftop, but we're eating on the sidewalk. I mean, come on, people. So anyway, I'm not talking about food or anything like that tonight, even though it's Friday, and I'm going to be joining my friend for, what does she call it? Dinner at your place. It's like a virtual. So this is another thing. We're having virtual dinners. I mean, listen, maybe I'm too old, but this is becoming more and more like Star Trek and 2001: A Space Odyssey. I thought that was science fiction, but anyway, that's another subject. I'm not an expert in science fiction. I'm not an expert on health and nutrition. I'm not an expert on relationships or raising children or pretty much anything. You know, you can't, don't, oh, definitely don't ask me anything about fixing cars or appliances. I'll probably break it. But what I do know is bookkeeping, accounting, the issues that face small business owners, John. Okay, not let solopreneurs. I don't care. A solopreneur is somebody like me that works from home. I don't have any employees. I mean, I have part-time subcontractors, and that's by design because employees cost money. You got to pay payroll taxes, and that's a whole nother story. I might be doing a workshop just on that issue now because it's becoming huge, especially if you're in California. And I have a lot of friends and clients in California, and I can't believe what's going on there. Where they're basically saying that there are no such things as subcontractors. They're saying everybody's an employee unless you could prove they're not, which is basically California, I think, is saying we don't even want you here. If you're too small to have employees, you're just wasting our time and you're not paying enough taxes. And that's what it always comes down to, the money. They can raise a lot of money by reclassifying people as employees. But anyway, I'm talking about everything except what I wanted to talk about tonight, which is, once again, we're going to talk about wave apps. And I'll talk about what I've decided not that anybody cares, or maybe you do care, but if I just have to talk about Wave apps for the rest of my career, I don't know if that would be okay. It might get boring at some time. But right now, what they're doing with this program, for me, is exciting for the simple fact that I will be able to service a lot more people. That's right. We could provide my firm, my solopreneurship, and my team of outside contractors, subcontractors, can take on now a large scale, a lot more scale of clients than I was able to before, because of the technology, because how they've streamlined everything. They've made it simple. They've almost eliminated data entry. And there's a little bit, and there is with every single program. I don't know any program or platform that you're going to go on where you don't have to spend some time learning it. Well, guess what? There's not too much to learn in this to get it set up. If you ever tried to set up QuickBooks and you went through the simple step-by-step tutorial, which will take at least an hour or two, and you're going to come across questions that you have no idea how to answer, and a lot of them won't apply to you, and they're not needed in order to do bookkeeping. And that's what we want to do. We want to do simple bookkeeping, get our numbers organized. Because if your numbers aren't organized, the rest of your business probably isn't organized. And this is what happens, even according to Forbes. And this is a quote I've used so many times, so if you've been watching me, but it's true. And I can pull out so many other quotes and statistics about businesses failing. And then I can pull out all kinds of research, and it looks like we got a bunch of comments here. So hello, Dr. Flo and Elizabeth. How are you? Well, it's been a long time since the two of you have been on one of my Facebook Lives. So thanks for visiting. Give me a hashtag live. And I see that Elizabeth says it's cool to sit outside but Elizabeth, only when there's no poison ivy. Okay, don't sit outside if there's poison ivy. And it was awesome, to be honest with you, sitting outside, even though I was on the sidewalk, because just being outside now is like an adventure. And it was awesome until this guy decides to move these pylons, which was blocking people from parking there. And the reason they were blocking it was because people were eating. So this guy decided, well, there's no parking anywhere else. I'll just move the pylons. And he backs right into me, almost. I mean, his exhaust was like literally this far away from my table, and his car was running. So if you're going to eat on the sidewalk, try to find a sidewalk where there's no traffic or something like that. Anyway, that's the story. We covered a lot on food so far. And if you own a restaurant now, the chances of I mean, I don't even want to get into that. So the fact that they're doing food outside, I guess, is a good thing. It's something that would have never happened, and it might turn into like a new way of eating out, literally. So I'm just trying to turn off my phone here. You would think that after all this time, I would know to turn it off. So I'm still a work in progress. And if you have any questions about Wave apps, wow, you guys are really, yeah. But Tokyo, according to Dr. Flo, Tokyo doesn't have any poison ivy. So if you're you're afraid of poison ivy, you can, I guess, go outside in Tokyo. It's no problem. Anyway, the restaurant business was always tough. And now it's even tougher. And the truth is that if you're opening a restaurant, unfortunately, or any other type of business, the chances are that you're not going to stay in business. Unfortunately, there's ways that we can increase your odds of success. And that's what I want to talk about. What I believe after 35 years in business and accounting, I came to the conclusion that the main reason why so many people fail is simple. It's just a lack of organization. And I'm not just talking about your accounting, although your books, the way you keep, if you think about it, if you're not paying attention to your numbers, to your books, you're not really paying attention to your business. And it's almost like your books, because when I get a new client, I get to see their books. And let me say something about this, folks, because, and I understand now, basically everybody thinks that their books are the worst. And when I say books, I'm just talking about your bank accounts, your record keeping, and whatever documents or information you use to do your business. So everyone, without a doubt, everyone thinks that, oh my God, when he sees my books, he's going to think I'm an idiot, or I'm not a responsible person. That's so far from the truth, because if you've gotten to the point where we're even talking about it, it's like you've already gone over the hurdle. You're in the solution. And believe me, there's no kinds of books and records I haven't seen already. And the other thing, because this comes up a lot, especially now doing business on the internet, and sometimes doing business with people that you've never even met face to face, which is happening more and more. And, you know, Dr. Flo can, actually, Dr. Flo and Elizabeth can vouch for that, because we're all working together. And we've never even had the pleasure of a face-to-face. I hope we can get beyond that someday. I hope we get beyond the virtual dinners and stuff. But anyway, I think I was talking about organizing your business, and I'm actually still on point. So I think I must be getting better at this. And I do have a special offer. So I'm going to put this out there, just as like what my friend John taught me is what they call an open loop. Because the only way you're going to know what the special offer is if you stay for the training. And this is training, and I'm going to tell you what it's going to be about. And I gotta do a little switch here, which I'm getting better at. And I could prove that because all of these Facebook Lives are recorded. So there's documentation about my progress here. And you know, I'm an accountant. I like to document things. So what we have here, I'm gonna take my face off of here and show you right from the beginning. And I'm going to tell you why I wanted to do this presentation like this tonight. Because as I was doing the presentation yesterday on invoicing and I know that was like probably one of the best presentations that you've ever seen, like one of the most useful. And you know, that's just the way I feel, that you probably got a lot out of that. If you didn't get to see it, it's up on my YouTube channel. And while you're there, you can subscribe. It's just, I don't know how to find it. I think you just go to Bedrock Business Builders on YouTube, and I got a bunch of other recordings up there. I have interviews with interesting people, and that's my YouTube story. But as I was preparing and as I was doing the presentation yesterday on how you can invoice people and get paid from anywhere in like seconds, I was coming across all of these new features and benefits. It's like they're adding it on a daily basis to a point where I got to keep up with that. So I said, let's just explore Wave tonight. Let's just go through it like I'm a beginner, because that's what most people will be if you've never been on Wave. And now I'm coming across a lot of people that are. It's like there were closet Wave users. People were using Wave and didn't want to admit it for some reason. It was almost like, we can't tell people because it's free, and then maybe they'll think that we're, in a bad spot. So, but all of a sudden, when I start talking about Wave, it's like I didn't. There's millions and millions, and there's going to be more. So, but if you're not one of those people and you're brand new, this is what you're going to see. This is one of the sign-in sheets, because they do have, let's see if I go to this one. And this is one of the things that I had to get used to, because I kept saying, well, which one is it? Where do I go? What's really confusing, and if you're an accountant or a bookkeeper, first of all, if you are, you should be using this. You're not, there's so many potential businesses out there that need this. You're not going to take business away from me, believe me. So maybe I'll start. Never mind. That's all another story. But anyway, when a new client invites you, you get taken to a whole nother screen, which that'll be a whole different level of, that might be for people like Elizabeth that decide that they want to start their own bookkeeping business or something like that. So anyway, and I hope that you could see, yes, you can. And so this is when you have the account, and usually I sign in with Google, but this is where my practice accounts are. So I'm just going to log in here. And so if you're a bookkeeper or you're an accountant, what's great about this is it's so simple to go to your clients. They're all right in one place. Now in QuickBooks, you got to get out of it. It's almost like these guys looked at QuickBooks and said, we could fix this. We can fix this. We can make it easier. And at the same time, they said, and anybody that's on a spreadsheet, this is going to be easier. So and that's what really excites me. There's not many things in bookkeeping and accounting that can excite anyone. Like a Section 179 deduction, if you don't know what that is. But that sort of stuff excites me. So here we are. And we've already I've set up a couple of companies already. I went through this. So let's just go through, instead of setting up a company, let's assume we've already set it up and just start going through this. So the launch pad is the launch pad. So if you're just starting out, you want to launch, and they're going to launch you right into. And I loved it for some reason in marketing and business. Threes. It's always three. Don't ask me why. It doesn't matter. It's like when I was growing up, and if my mother said, I got to brush my teeth, and I said, why? My mother would say, because. Just because. And that was good enough for me. So for some reason that nobody will ever be able to explain, and it doesn't matter if they can, when you get into business, just keep the number 3 in your mind. And I know it has something to do with how we make choices, because for some reason, we usually pick the middle one. You have this one, and this one. So usually if there's prices, it's like, oh, this is free, this is the most popular choice, and this is the expensive one that nobody is going to sign up for. Okay. So you could start out with one, but for some reason, people, they won't. If there's only one, you're not giving them a choice. So last night I did the professional invoicing. I'm not going to cover payroll because most solopreneurs will not have a payroll until they're making a profit. And then you would have to go through payroll, but payroll will be a whole separate workshop. So that's the launch pad. I can go into here, and so they're going to give me choices. And this is one way for, I guess this is like their beginners, like the alternative to QuickBooks step-by-step questions that nobody understands, and you're going to answer them wrong anyway. But this is simple. And listen, if you don't want to do it, you could just hire one of their advisors. When they started out a couple of years ago, they didn't have this. They actually had a community of Wave advisors, and they were getting all the clients. So somebody probably went in and took over Wave and said, hey, we're giving away the store here. And they decided that if somebody needs a bookkeeper, they were going to provide them. And again, as a business owner, I'm not worried about being in competition with Wave, because I am doing what they offer, which is they're going to do your bookkeeping and whatever else. They'll probably take it all the way up to the tax firm. So that's a nice business model. If I could have, I would have done that. Build the software and then get the clients. But I'm way beyond building software. But anyway, just to give you an idea, what they charge is, let's see if we can get there quickly. Coach me on doing their books, do my books for me. So this is good, but they start at $129 a month just for the bookkeeping. So I want you to, and that's going to be another open loop that I'm going to bring you back to, and so that you can compare it with what I'm offering. So that's the launch pad, though. So I got here through the launch pad. Let's go to the dashboard and see some of the stuff that we have. And I'm only going to spend like another 3 or 4 minutes because there's way too much stuff here. But this is a good start. And so you can just get rid of a lot of this stuff. And that's part of the reason why this is free. Because they're trying to sell you stuff. They want to sell you the bookkeeping. They want to sell you their payroll service, but that's the price that you got to pay. And right here, and they're doing something here. I'm watching this because somehow they're setting up their own bank. And I don't know if it's going to be like cryptocurrency or, it's where I haven't had time yet to go into here. But when they say no bank fees, I don't know about it. Last month, I paid $75 because I have a bunch of different accounts. And it's either closed down some of my bank accounts or, anyway, that's another story. But this is where you connect your bank accounts. And again, this is as simple as logging into your bank or credit card. And what happens is it's secure, it sucks in all of your information, and that's where there is no data entry, and it stays connected unless you change your password or something, and that's a security feature. Now, the great thing about this, and security is an issue, it is for me, definitely, because if I'm not doing it, if I have one of my people doing it, I want to make sure that they're not doing something that's going to get me in trouble or my client. But when you create a bookkeeper, when I add one of my bookkeepers to help out, they're going to go in as an editor and a bookkeeper. And they can't do anything except bookkeeping. And in fact, even if you made me an admin, all I could do now is I can add a bookkeeper, but I cannot get into your account. I can't even look at your bank or credit card accounts. It's very tight, it's secure. You're the only one. So if your username or password changes, you got to let your accountant know, or me, because the connection will be lost. And so I'm going to continue to go through this on other nights, but they have, and the list just keeps growing. You can do an estimate. I haven't done that yet, but you have the ability. And normally, like in QuickBooks, what that means is you can give a customer an estimate and then change it into an invoice. That might be a good feature for some people. This one I love because most of my clients are on a regular monthly retainer. I don't have to send them a bill. They don't have to pay it. It's all automated. There's a bunch of other things. This is a nice feature, having all of the transactions on one statement. Purchases, I showed the other night about you can actually upload your receipts and then classify them. Accounting, they want you to hire them as a bookkeeper. Payroll is something so they have timesheets. I mean, this is amazing, people. And last but not least, this is what really blew me away, was all of these integrations that they're adding, and they're going to keep adding. And some of these programs I know, some of them I don't know, but this is huge. Stripe is a huge one. Square Sales, Shopify. So this is something to actually have a client, Tatiana, if you're listening, that might be something that we can talk about. They got all of these CRMs now. And so the way I'm looking at this, folks, is that this program is becoming what QuickBooks was trying to become, and they were in the beginning, which was really like to be a real hub, a real center of helping the small business owner. And what happened was they were successful, and then they started branching out, and QuickBooks became a monstrosity, to the point where they actually had to create other QuickBooks versions to try to scale it down, and it really didn't work, to be honest with you. They got now something called the Simple Start. I mean, just going to their menu is you're going to spend a couple of hours figuring out which version you need. And what I'd like to do now is take you back to the first open loop that I'm going to close now, which is my special offer. And I didn't share the screen yet, so let me do that. And I've been sharing this. And all right, I was just looking at my entourage here. Elizabeth and Dr. Flo. Yes, Elizabeth, I love spreadsheets. They are, I don't know what I would do without them, but they're not built for bookkeeping. They're not. They're built for other things. They were never designed to do bookkeeping. And that's my story. I'm sticking with it. So let me show you what my special offer is. I call it the actually, this isn't what I'm calling it anymore, and I forgot what I'm calling it, but I like changing the name of things. But it's something, and I have it on one of my post-its here, but it's small business services, and this is what it's going to include. And these are, I guess, what they call the features, not the benefits. These are the features. I'm going to take a look at your whole business. And that means, and when I say the whole business, we're talking about single owner entities. There's not a lot of business overview, to be honest with you. As far maybe the details of what you do. I have doctors as clients. I mean, I'm not going to even get into how they make money. But as far as running it as a business, I will look at the whole business from soup to nuts, from how are you keeping your records to how are you collecting your money and accounting for it. And also some marketing stuff in between, because there's a definite, what do you call it? Sequence. I'm losing words here. I'm going to help you set up your accounting system. And what that means is it's going to be something that you won't even have to say the word accounting system anymore, because it's just going to be working. It's going to be working while you're sleeping. I'm going to be available to you, me, not one of my staff, me, 24/7. That's every day except Sundays. So I'm going to make this 24/6 because I decided that I'm taking Sundays off. But you can still try me. If I pick up, I'll help you out. Otherwise, you can wait till Monday. And the last feature is I'm basically gonna keep your books in real time, and this is it. This is the benefit in a nutshell. I got your back, and that means I am gonna completely wipe away any distraction that you might be feeling from having to keep those spreadsheets, Elizabeth. I don't care how much you love them. All those distractions from entering your transactions in QuickBooks, the pain and the suffering that you must go through at the end of the year when your accountant is asking you for the numbers. Though that will all be a thing of the past, I guarantee it. And this is the amazing thing. I'm going to close the second loop for you now and end it, and end the Friday presentation on a great note. And I think what Elizabeth says is spread the vibration. If you could post that, you know what you say, Elizabeth. I like it, and it's appropriate now. Because if you remember, and it wasn't that long ago, the price to get a Wave app bookkeeper is $129 a month, which is probably a good price. I don't know. They might add up the numbers and do a balance. Like, I mean, you can't do it better, because once the numbers add up, they're going to add up to, I don't care who's doing the bookkeeping. If it's done right, it's going to be the same. So they're charging $129. I'm charging $47 a month. So I don't know if you would rather go to your Wave app bookkeeper for business advice, or you want to go to a CPA with 35 years of experience. You know, that's your preference. There is one catch. There is a small setup fee. It's normally $197, but I wanted to save some time and just go right to the actual cost. And so all you got to do, if you're interested now, there's a couple of things. You can go to Time with Joe and just book an appointment with me, or you can go to a new URL, which is joedecharacfo.com. And if you go there, you're going to get another offer to try out my system for only $1. That's right. I'm going to set you up on my system, no strings attached. If you don't want the service for whatever reason, you don't continue. You got a 2-week trial period. For the investment is $1. If you can't afford $1, I don't have a solution for you. So sorry, but anyway, I hope you enjoyed the presentation. I had a lot of fun doing it. Thank you, Elizabeth and Dr. Flo, for visiting again. And that's my story. I'm sticking with it. And I'm going to go have a virtual dinner now with my friend Susie Cruden. And connect with me, timewithjoe.com. And just open up. This is what my mom is doing. Because I told her about Wave Apps. We stopped it. She didn't want to learn a new program. But she actually signed up for it, and she's playing around with it now. And she's 80 years old. And she needed something to do, and she might come out of retirement, so pray for me. So God bless. I'll see you tomorrow, same bad time, same bad channel. Thank you. Good night.